Welcome to the XYZ podcast. I am your millennial producer, Tony. Joining me, as always, are our hosts, Gen X Brian.
What's happening?
And Gen Z Winston.
What it do?
What does it do?
Welcome to a little bit of a very special episode for us. Thank you for joining us for our 10th episode. We've made it to episode 10. It's a small anniversary. But to celebrate, we're all having a little more beverages than normal.
It is a little more beverages.
Winston, what are you drinking? We're gonna start with Winston as he sips.
It's a very fancy.
I asked a question and he took a drink.
Yes. Yes. You're like the waiter that comes server that comes up to the table right after you've put a fork full of food in your mouth. How is everything?
How's everything? Okay, so I was looking for something to drink, and I realized I didn't have anything anymore. My roommates had decided to raid my alcohol that I did stash. So I whipped up a little something on my own. I don't even know what it is. I call it an adult fruit punch. I have
there's no way to dignify that.
Yeah.
It's adult fruit punch.
I mean, it even looks like one.
It does. What is that? It's red.
You're gonna put the ping, Brian. This is however many attempt I am at hinting at a video podcast.
Yes, right. Yeah, look at my drink. This is what it looks like.
Doesn't it look really nice? It looks like Hawaiian punch.
It does.
But it's peach schnapps with grenadine syrup. Yeah, peach schnapp with grenadine syrup, and that's
grenadine.
Yeah, so
nice.
So yeah, that's it. It's really sweet. It's really good, but I'm sure the alcohol will sneak up on me at some point here.
Winston will be bartending at the cocktail lounge this weekend.
Yes, ladies, come see me. Fellas, you can
All
see
right,
me.
Tony, round robin drink. Oh, Tony's got a can.
Next.
Not the. Well, I'm looking at. It's not
nice,
the.
What is that?
A simply spiked peach strawberry. I am also 2 little Smirnoff lemonade shots in as well.
Oh, those are great. I love
It's
those.
like an alcoholic on a plane.
I know.
With the mini bottles.
Get the little nips in here.
Yeah, that's good.
We did talk about drinking, so I did take 2 of those little bottle shots, and man,
you pre-game, Brian.
So, yeah, he did.
I'm not a drinker, so like while me and Winston were sitting here, like that wave hit me. I went,
oh boy, we did. That serves as a disclaimer for the remainder of the episode.
Yeah, listen, I'm in charge and I'm producing, but it's gonna be a wild ride tonight, guys.
I just want to make sure the tape recorder's recording.
That's going. Listen, the recording's happening. We're all right.
Yeah.
No, Brian, how many drinks are you in? And
I'm at number 3. So tonight went a little non-traditional, went for a bourbon and then an imperial IPA and then followed by another bourbon for the podcast. So
I'm more of a resistant IPA, but that's just me.
So the beer before liquor doesn't apply, or is it?
It does not. I have tried several of those variations. I honestly believe it's all about pacing and hydration. You can put any weird combination together as long as you're keeping an eye on that. But I noticed that you had a juice brand cocktail. So I've started seeing those commercials, like the Simply brand is getting into cocktails.
The Mickey Mouse cocktail, as they call it.
Yeah, so I mean,
I'm a Disney guy. That's fine.
Exactly.
Hook me up, Mickey. Come on.
Yeah, the juice brands are getting into cocktails. I just saw today that yes.
Oh, really?
And then
even Dunkin' Donuts now has applied for
Dunkin' Donuts.
Boozy drinks. They have a couple of them coffee flavored boozy drinks, and then some of those fruity drinks also with alcohol. So it's like, is it greed? Or they're like, hey man, a lot of people drink. We're not good enough with our premium orange juices and whatever. Let's get into booze.
Hey, you know how we're a breakfast brand? You know what we're missing? The booze market. Get in on that.
You know what this reminds me of, Ryan? It kind of reminds me of like the seltzer trend when everybody was getting into seltzers. And I remember showing Brian an SNL skit. I think I showed it to you too, Tony, but it was like those guy was like, oh yeah, everybody's doing seltzer. I'm drinking the JC Penney seltzer. It was like, what's the flavor? Men's jacket?
But yeah, everybody's getting into the booze game. I mean, it's kind of weird.
I'm waiting for Kool-Aid to dip its toes.
Oh, listen, they can't. No, they've
don't even say that because I will I'll buy stock.
Yeah,
exactly. I love Kool-Aid.
It's a family-friendly brand. They can't.
And it's definitely. I've seen TikToks. People going, listen, if you live in the hood, you don't refer to it by the flavor. It's always by the color. And I go, Didn't know I grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
Because for sure,
yeah.
anyone asked me, what's your favorite Kool-Aid flavor? 100% blue.
Blue. Okay.
I'm a red guy.
I'm a red guy myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the purple one is great too. I'm a big
Purple's
purple.
good?
Yeah.
Back in the day, Great Blue Dini. Awesome.
See, that's a millennial flavor. I'm with the OG flavors.
Yeah.
What are the OG flavors?
Purple Saurus Rex.
Oh, see, no, we had no dinosaurs. We had like cherry.
Great Blue Dini was an octopus that looked like a magician. He had like the top hat and stuff.
Dini Houdini. I got it.
That's clever.
This episode brought to you by Kool-Aid. That's fantastic.
But I was just saying it. But imagine if Kool-Aid does get into the alcohol business, you know how many parenting situation people are going to be in because they bought the wrong Kool-Aid and now they have a bunch of drunk 8-year-olds.
Oh my goodness!
Listen, if they put boozy Kool-Aid in squeeze bottles.
Done.
It's done. You know how many people are going to try to put themselves through walls?
Oh yeah.
Kool-Aid man.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Kool-Aid. Oh yeah.
There are alcoholic freezy pops. Bought some of those at Costco. Yeah.
What kind?
That's what happens when people spend a year and a half in solitary.
I was going to say, who do you think is the demographic? Is it real depressed adult or is it real successful adult that sit around and eat alcoholic icy pops?
It's successful adults and most likely has a Salt Life sticker on the back of their car.
They're from Florida.
So before we move on, there's a few things that I want to touch on. I do want to give a shout out to my friend Beth, who went out in the Atlanta heat and stood in line so that all three of us could try the French's Mustard and Skittles collaboration.
Thank you, Beth.
Shout out, Beth.
Well, shout out, Beth. I don't know when to say thank you because, boy.
We're not trying them live on air. They've already been tried, but thoughts.
It's awful,
horrible.
It's so bad.
I disagree, but continue. I'll say my thoughts.
While you disagree, let me ask the both of you: how do you feel about mustard to begin with?
Okay,
love it.
I only like honey mustard.
Okay,
definitely a mustard guy. Love mustard.
Okay,
this is what happened when you're from Philadelphia.
I'm not from Philadelphia.
Oh, well, you're from.
I'm from the other side of the state. I'm from Listen, I'm closer to Pittsburgh, which is where Heinz is headquartered.
Oh, see, exactly.
I am a Heinz
yellow mustard guy.
No, listen, I think Heinz does make mustard, not a Heinz mustard guy. Definitely go French's, but I'm definitely a Heinz purist. Speaking of my friend Beth, she lived with me at a point in time. She brought Hunt's ketchup into our apartment, and I went,
"Oh my god!
I said, don't you ever bring that back here?" I said, "Who bought this?" She goes, "Oh, I did." I went, "Don't you ever bring this into my house again?"
Blasphemer.
Yes. But love mustard.
You love mustard. Winston does not like mustard.
I only like honey mustard, so it's like, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pause for an 80s flashback here, and I'm gonna say the words "Grey Poupon."
Oh,
does that bring any Winston thoughts?
Yeah, it's in that Kanye West song. I give her Grey Poupon like I'm DJ Mustard. That's a great lyric. That's great.
Do you have any Grey Poupon?
Yes. Okay, good. So Tony knows what I'm talking about.
Although I'm more familiar with their more recent, I don't know if it was a parody or if it was a real commercial where they were like, I poop on my hot dog.
What?
And I poop on my burger.
It was a great. I
don't remember if it was a real commercial or not, but it stuck in my mind where it was just like they cut out the gray and they were just like, I poop on everything.
But it's before you go on though, Brian, I'll tell you this. One time I remember, this is like back in 2016, 2017, and that Kanye album had just came out, and you know the line I gave her Grey Poupon like I'm DJ Mustard. I remember me and my cousin making a Vine. At this point, Vine was already dead. So it was just a Snapchat story, actually. We walk in the grocery store, and it was like, oh my God, I can't believe they made the Kanye West lyrics into a real thing.
Gosh,
oh man.
Every time I laugh at how when you do recognize something, it's through another means. It's not through. So for those listeners who may not be old enough to remember, there was a series of commercials in the 80s or early 90s where like this fancy car would roll up and somebody would roll down the window to like a limo, right? You pull up next to a limo and they'd roll down their window and they'd say,
"Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon?" But of course.
And they would be asking people in the car next to the fancy people if they had the fancy mustard. And it was hilarious, which is why we still remember it. And apparently why Kanye West quoted it in his song.
I give him great Poupon on a DJ Mustard.
But yes, it was fancy mustard is what it was. Was it honey mustard? I don't even know. To go back to these Skittles, so I do not like mustard in any form, gray Poupon or otherwise. I'm starting to come around to yellow mustard a little bit in various settings, like on a Cuban sandwich, mustard is delicious. These Skittles were gross. They were super gross. They were
you didn't like them either, did you?
I did not. Here's the weird thing about it. I love honey mustard, but that thing tasted like honey mustard, but I could not get into it. It felt weird.
I'm disappointed that it wasn't more mustard. I was really hoping for like a more vinegary.
Oh God.
I was hoping like if you get sour Skittles, they've got like the citric acid crystals on the outside. What this needed was like the powdered vinegar
powder.
Like the powdered vinegar that you get on a salt and vinegar chip that like dries your mouth out and kind of burns. That's what these needed on the outside. I think it needed to go full tilt into the mustard, and they like sort of halved it.
Yeah.
They were interesting, but I think they could have been worse, which means they would have been better.
Right. Now, I follow you on that. If they're going to go for it, go for it. Yeah. What this needed is somebody in the meeting to say, are you kidding? Nobody wants mustard Skittles.
Like, wow. Somebody needed to go, please stop.
Yeah. There's a million other options. Why mustard, but what is the point of this? Because obviously that is not going to be a wide.
Yeah, it's a very odd collaboration too.
Why do they do that? Just to generate buzz?
That's it. I think it's just going, hey, this is weird. Let's just do it. Point number 2, while we're talking about drinks, before we get too far away, I would like, again, story time. Let's talk about everybody's first time, and maybe everybody's first drink or everybody's first time getting drunk.
Ooh, I have a good
first time.
I think
I was like,
got a good one. So
he's hanging on that.
Let me finish my thought. Again, I'm a few drinks in here.
The alcohol is beating his ass, Brian.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I told you right up front, gonna be a rough ride. Just follow behind me here. So yeah, first times getting drunk or first drinks, whichever is. Maybe we get 2 stories out of everybody, but
I definitely have some of those.
Winston, you said you had a good one, so let's start with you.
I really hope the people that are in this story don't listen to this. Actually, I do want them to listen to the podcast. I want
you can change the names if necessary.
Yeah, we can. Or I don't care.
Names and places have been changed to protect the innocent.
So before this, I've already drank a couple beers here and there with just family and stuff like that. So it was my 18th birthday and my cousin graduation party both at the same time.
Statute of limitations long enough on this?
Yeah, I was underage drinking. We all do it. Yeah, sue me. What do you want me to do? Oh, what if I say, it was in Vietnam?
Okay, sidebar. What is the Vietnamese drinking age?
There is none. You can drink at any point in time. It's almost like Europe. Yeah. Like, I think you can be 13 and start drinking already.
I'm going to take us down a side road just because I'm curious.
Yeah.
How is drinking and getting drunk viewed over there?
It's normal, especially from the area that I'm from. We kind of party a lot, so people just think it's a very normal occurrence. And even a lot of time, if you were 13 and 14 and you couldn't drink, people kind of just make fun of you. And that's including the parents.
That's weird.
Yeah. So it's just I think drinking is a very normal part in our culture. So I don't think they put an emphasis on all of these things could happen when you get drunk, yada yada. Well, we don't have guns, so that's already a good start.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So other than that,
driving's already erratic. So.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like driving drunk any day.
And here's the thing: it's so packed you can't even go fast. Can't die. Yeah, you can't die if you're stuck in traffic.
So, do parents have a glass of wine at dinner, or what is the main?
No,
drink?
it's mainly for parties and events that we drink.
Okay.
Yeah, for dinner. I mean, my mom and dad occasionally had a glass of wine here and there, but the go-to drink for everybody over there is beer. And unlike the beer here, well, sort of like Michelob Ultra, it's made with rice grain over there. So it's a lot more tame compared to American beer from what I've recognized. After I got back to Vietnam in February, I was hammering down like multiple cans and I'm like, this isn't doing anything.
Drink a 12-pack. I'm invincible.
Exactly. And that was it. But yeah, so it's not a big deal over there to drink when you're young. So the same ideology is carried by all these immigrants that come to, the United States, and those people, including my aunt and uncle. So when I was 18 and my cousin had just graduated high school, they were like, "Yo, we're just gonna throw a party. You guys are more than welcome to drink and stuff." I was like, "Oh, it's great." But what had happened before that day was like what causes me to like get real shit faced that day. So I had a crush on this girl for a while, and then I found out that exact day that she decided to turn me down, and then she told me she was in a relationship with this other guy. And I've seen what the guy looked like, and he was
Shang-Chi.
No. He was disgusting. He was if he had looked like Shang-Chi, I lost. But this case, he was uglier than me, and I was just like, what
we call a bucket of yuck.
Yeah, he was not he was a character for sure. Ooh. I was like, this is so messed up that I'm like, I almost felt like shitty about it. And I've had feelings for this girl for a while. We grew up together, so I've known her for a while.
How old are you at this point?
I was 18. So okay. I was about to start college that year. That night, I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna drink as much as I want to. So
yeah, that's gonna turn out well.
Yeah, I was just hammering down so many beer. I think I had 15 bottles.
Oh my gosh, man.
15 bottles bottles and cans.
Too much.
And then shots in between them too. Oh. We were doing tequila shots. So it was awful. I knew I was drunk when I remember going upstairs to grab something and I could feel how loud I was walking. Like, you ever get that point of drunk, Brian, where you was like, why is my step so loud? It was like that. And I was just like, oh my God, I was slamming into the wall left and right going up the stairs. End of the night, we can cut this out too. End of it's questionable. That's why I said we can cut it out. End of the night, everybody had already left. I went up to my room, and it was like I was so drunk, and I've never experienced something like that, so I didn't know what to do. So I walk over to my cousin's room, and I'm banging on the door. I'm like, "Yo, help me. I'm like so drunk. I don't know what to do." And I didn't realize this because I was shit-faced at the time. But she told me the day after. But she was totally in there having sex with her boyfriend.
Oh,
and I was just banging on the door like, help me, please. Listen, I don't know what to do.
Banging on the outside, banging on the inside. just trying to equal things out here.
Exactly. So I'm like,
oh my gosh,
like that. And so
that's how drunk Winston was the first time he got super hammered, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
and so the story doesn't end there. You would think that was
there's
it.
More.
Yeah. And so she was like, okay, just give me a second. I'll be right there. So I didn't know what to do. So I went to the bathroom. I sat down. I wasn't like crouching over the toilet. I wasn't like having my head on the seat. And
You're not praying to the porcelain gods yet.
No, not yet. I was sitting facing the toilet and my bag was against the wall. And then my cousin come in and she was like, "Hey, you good?" And I was like, "No, dude, I feel like crap. Like, I need you to help me." She was like, "Dude, I feel so bad. Like, I should have stopped you from drinking, yada yada." I was like, "No, you're good, man. It's whatever." And then she goes, "Well, you need to throw up. That will help you get a lot better if you just throw up." I was like, "No, I can't. I've been trying. Like, I couldn't throw up." She was like, "Did you put your finger in your mouth?" And
my gosh, that's
and I was like, I was like, "Yeah, I already did. I couldn't do it. It's like a mental block thing." And she was like, "Okay, or why don't you think of like the most disgusting thing you can think of?" And I kid you not, in my head, I thought of the kid that my crush left me for. And my whole body jolted up and I started vomiting into the toilet bowl, like nonstop vomiting. And I was just like throwing up nonstop.
Oh my god!
He's a universal horror monster,
yeah,
and
exactly.
you couldn't stomach it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I fell back, I knocked back to the wall. And she was like, "What did you even think of?" I was like, I kid you not, I thought of that girl's new boyfriend, and she lost it. She was dying. So and then the story still didn't end. My cousin then
she thought of him and she starts throwing up.
That would have been hilarious. So then she and her boyfriend then pulled me up, brought me to my room, laid me out on my bed. And I'm like, oh my God, Andy, I gotta throw up again. Like I feel like crap. And she was like, okay, well, you think you can make it to the bathroom? I'm like, no, I can't. So this is weird. Like, this is a drunk mindset. I was like, I can't make it to the bathroom. She goes, okay, well, hold on. I'll get you something to throw up in. She ran downstairs and back up. And I could have made it to the bathroom at this point. She came downstairs, came back up, had this giant like tray that she was like, here, just throw up in here and I'll just go dump it. And I was like, okay. And immediately as I said, okay, I immediately vomited into the bowl or tray or whatever it was. And it was kind of like a curved bowl. So it went in and it splashed backwards and hit her hand. And I was like, dude, I am so sorry. I'll tell you this. This is how I know my cousin loved me, because she goes, dude, it's okay, man. Don't worry about it. I'll just clean it up afterwards. And I kid you not, till this day, every time she see that tray, she'll take a picture and text it to me and be like, oh, the horrors.
This Trey's seen some things.
Yeah, exactly.
Dark Tony, days. What questions? The stories you're prompting, man. This is
what we're looking for.
That was fascinating and disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could have ended it at the bathroom, but there was more. I wanted people to know.
You may have. We'll see.
Ryan, are you taking next or am I taking next?
Man, I really honestly don't have anything that even compares to that. Mine's a mediocre story, so I'll put mine in the middle. Yeah, I didn't really drink a lot, and didn't like, when I got to college, did not love the taste of beer, and really am amused now because I am a big fan of beers. And I don't feel as bad that, like, at college I would make faces and retch at the beers that I drank, because they were truly awful beers. I mean, they were seriously gross beers. It wasn't just,
it was like it was piss water.
It totally was. It totally was. But, you know, in college you drink the beers you get. I recall we had a fellow down at the end of our dorm who was 21. And this guy, Grant, he was 21, and it was like his second year in the dorms. And so we'd be like, hey, you know, we'd all scramble our money together and be like, can you, you know, you're going to the liquor store. Can you get us, you know, what our college freshman brains could come up with? And I always say in Indiana, the official beer of the college I went to was Busch Light. I mean, that was what everybody drank, which is just horrible beer.
It's cheap, man.
Exactly. And that
Busch
was
Light,
like
Natty Light, Keystone Light,
right?
You know,
all of those beers from, you know, the Wisconsin region or whatever.
Wisconsin.
And so I remember he went and he came back, and I don't know how much we gave him, but he came back with a case, not a 12-pack, but a case, 24 beers. We must have gave him like $20 or something of Hams. What was it? It was Hams, HAMM apostrophe S, like golden or something. It's below Busch Light. It is. It is like a sub level of beer that is so gross. But it was like Hams Special or something like that, and it had these gold cans, and it was awful. So we had 24 of these things, and by so clearly we did not finish them over the course of the weekend, and we had them in our coolers in our dorms, which is highly contraband, you know. By Tuesday we're going down the hall and be like, dude, I'll give you 3 beers for like a Coke. You got a Coke in your fridge? Here's like 3 beers. Take these things, and trying to barter them off for better beverages. So that is not as a gross story of as Winston's, but that is definitely a drinking story. I can't recall the first time I got drunk, but I wasn't a big beer drinker in the beginning.
I will agree with you. I'm not a beer guy. Don't like beer.
I don't think anybody like beer. I think it's a social thing to like them.
No, I love beer. There are delicious beers. There are so many crap beers out there. I mean, there are a lot of beers that are garbage, but people
like coffee though too. I'm not a coffee guy. I just like, if you have to like suffer into liking something, I'm not into that.
Oh, I fully used to say that if I have to acquire a taste for it, then that's ridiculous. Like, why should I have to acquire it? I will say my taste buds have changed over the years, and that's I like coffee. I like, you know, beers, bitter IPAs. I didn't used to like bourbon. Clearly, the podcast has demonstrated I'm a fan of the bourbon.
The bourbon.
Yeah, I'm not. I guess to say I'm not a real alcohol guy either. Like, I don't drink all that much unless I'm on vacation. It's the only time that I really ever drink.
Your liver.
I'm definitely a social drinker, is what it is. Like, I don't drink on my own. I usually have to have somebody that I'm drinking with, or if there's a certain event, then I'm drinking.
That's it. That's the only reason I have stuff tonight is because it was a special occasion. We sort of pre-planned.
Winston, we're bad influences. How about that?
No, you're a bad influence, right? You're an alcoholic.
That's true.
I'm joining the wave.
That's true. I remember I used to think that like drinking during the weeknights, you don't drink during the weeknights. And then I also thought drinking on your own was also weird. But, now it's like, I'll have
you're drinking on your own on a weeknight, huh?
Well, because I'm having a drink. I'm not like sitting here trying to get drunk. I think that's the difference is I'm actually enjoying the drink.
Drinking at home is the best anyways because it's cheaper.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
That was one of the things that keeps me from drinking in the first place. If you go out to a restaurant and you look at a drink menu, 9 times out of 10, there's no prices.
Yeah.
And that's a bad idea because you go, all right, well, I'll just have a beer. And then you go, that was a $13 beer.
You could have got yourself a six-pack.
On them. Yeah,
you could have got a 6-pack for that price. Absolutely.
That's true.
Like you could have bought for the price of 2 beers out at a restaurant, you could have bought a whole bottle of bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's insane.
Yeah. Imagine getting alcohol at a movie theater.
Listen. I buy alcohol at a Disney park. So yes, I understand.
He's like the movie theater on steroids. Cocktail $20. Sure. Yeah.
They got some good specialty stuff down there that I don't get anywhere else. So that's how I justify it in my mind. I go, I'm on vacation. It's a special thing.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, whatever.
I'll tell you this, Ryan. If they come out with a Disney version Busch Light, you will buy it for $30.
Nope. Yeah. Listen, they do. I'm going down soon for Food and Wine. I don't get any of the beers. I don't get any of the wines. Not a beer or wine guy.
I'm here for the food
and wine. It's just food.
Just food.
I'm a big Star Wars guy. I have never tried any of these specialty beers in Galaxy's Edge.
Couldn't we get like alcoholic blue milk? Right, that's a thing.
Yeah. Depending. I think they put a shot of rum in the blue and a shot of tequila in the green. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Which is weird.
See, now that I can go for. They have a bunch of stuff at Oga's Cantina. They've got like 5 or 6 different beers that you can't buy anywhere except in that particular section of the park. I don't drink beer though.
I just want to bring back the joke I made earlier. I almost feel like you guys didn't hear it. When Brian was like, I had an Imperial IPA for the night. And I was like, Star Wars joke. I love a resistant IPA. And you guys just ignored it completely. I was like, okay, it's
Winston. I've had a couple drinks in me. At least get your eras right, man.
Yeah.
Imperial Rebellion, First Order, Resistance. Come on. I'll still spit my Star Wars facts, regardless of my drinks. I'll straighten you out, man.
Winston, your joke was funny, but it didn't fit the timeline. Therefore,
that's why it was ignored.
But it was wrong. So how about that?
We had to throw it out. I'm sorry, that was dismissed due to a factual error, a timeline error.
That's why I didn't laugh. How about that?
Joke is cut.
Yeah.
Back to the drawing board for me.
I guess it's my turn. So my first time I got drunk was the night before my wedding.
Oh God.
At least it wasn't on your wedding.
Could have ended disastrously.
Oh yeah, totally.
So again, me and my wife aren't drinkers. My mother-in-law helped pay for a lot of the wedding, which was awesome. Huge shout out to her. But she was like, I don't drink. We're doing a dry wedding. Like, you want that? That's on you. And we're like, we don't drink either. So everybody else who drinks, they're going to be SOL. And we had some people
slap out of libations.
Yes. Yep. We had people leave. They're like, hey, we're going to go find a bar. And we're like, all right, I'll see you later then. So dry wedding, had more than enough fun. One of the pastors that married us, every time we see this guy, he goes, I've done a lot of weddings. Constantly think about how fun your wedding was.
So that's awesome.
Okay, that's good. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
But the night before my wedding, for my bachelor party, it was a bunch of my closest guy friends sitting at my apartment. Big surprise, playing board games. I know everyone's
drinking
going,
milk.
Wow. We had a milk bar. No, my roommate from college, also named Brian, but with a Y.
Brian, by the way.
Brian bought, big surprise here, a bottle of bourbon.
Oh.
He brought a bottle of Woodford Reserve. Good bourbon.
Yeah, that's good.
I can't drink it anymore because we started doing shots and I probably had 8 or 9 shots in a 2 or 3 hour time span. Like it was
oh my gosh,
lot.
man. That's way too many. Yeah.
After like 2, they didn't taste like anything.
No,
anymore.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say, Tony, did you take the shots and go back to playing board game while shit faced?
We probably did 3. I probably did 3 or 4 shots before we started gaming.
Oh wow, okay.
And then we started gaming, and we're doing like trivia games and stuff. And from my memory, I'm reading cards, I'm answering questions. It was awesome. But my wife and some of her bridesmaids showed up halfway through games, and I was out of it. Like they showed up, and I was like, "Hey, doing everything's great, everything's spinning, everything's awesome." They're like, "You've had too much," and I went, "No, I'm fine." So they're like, "You need to eat something." I'm like, well, "Okay, give me food. I'm up for that." You know, call back. I'm a trash man. Keep it bad. Just shovel it in. So they're like, "Hey, we've got pizza from the rehearsal dinner left over."
Nice.
I had what I thought was a piece of pizza in 2 minutes. Apparently, what I had was 2 pieces of pizza in 1 minute.
Oh God!
Fun time, Tony. Immediately over.
Oh,
immediately,
man.
Like it hit my stomach, and I went, "I don't feel good."
Belly full of bourbon, belly full of pizza. At the same time.
It went from like happy fun, Tony, everything feels great time to I'm in the bathroom, and people are going, "Do you want like some Ritz crackers?" I go, "If you feed me another freaking cracker, I will turn around and punch you."
Man, both your stories end in vomit. Yeah.
So both have to do with girls too.
Yeah.
But I remember games. I remember feeling sick in my bathroom, and then I remember laying in my front lawn. I'm just like, it's at least cool out.
That sounds
here.
about
I was
right,
just laying in the grass.
You know what's so funny? I did the same thing that night too. I also laid on the front lawn. It's a universal experience.
Great. It felt awesome. And then I puked some, and then my buddy Brian took me to a Sheetz and got me a Gatorade and took me home. Said, "Drink all of this, and I'm not leaving till you do." And then I went to sleep, and I woke up for my wedding day, and I was completely fine. So,
really,
thank you, Brian, for taking care
Brian,
of me.
saved you, man. Was he your best man? Was he your best man, or was your brother your best man?
Brother was my best man.
Brian was the next best man.
Brian, who was already married and had experience in weddings.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I think it's hilarious that Brian was the guy that brought the bourbon over, and was also the guy that was like, you gotta sober.
He knew how to handle me. He's like, "Listen, I caused this issue. I'm gonna fix the issue."
He was a professional.
Absolutely,
very respectable.
A team player. Yeah.
So, Winston, I hear in the media and whatnot that your generation is drinking less than previous generations. Would you agree or disagree with that? There's more. What is it? Sober curious?
I think we don't drink as much off of the fact that a lot of us are very antisocial nowadays.
Or poor.
That too. Alcohol is very expensive.
Well, here's the thing. That's why I drink hams. I mean, there's always a way to find some cheap, shitty alcohol.
Right. That study is it's not reliable enough, because think about it. If they're talking about Gen Z drinking, it's like a handful of us that can drink. It's only 5 years different, like from 19.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, that's true. So you were an older Gen Z.
Yeah. So I think I'm like
you can't be posting Instagram photos and stuff of drinking hams.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta drink something fancy.
That's true.
You gotta at least have a mid-level something if you're.
I'm sure it's all been replaced by White Claw at this point.
We don't post what. Actually, they do. I do know people that post White Claw.
Me and my friends, embarrassing, but
me and my friends, if we do want to flex, is usually when we buy a bottle of something. My go-to pose will always ever be a bottle of Jägermeister. That's my go-to drink, so I always post a bottle of that.
Yeah, black licorice, man. Can't do black licorice.
It's so good.
Yeah.
See, like when we were drinking, and especially if it was underage, we certainly were not posting about it.
Well, we're not underage, so we're good.
I guess you are of age now, but that's okay.
Well, when I was underage, I would just post a bottle of Corona and thinking it's cool, because it's like, hey, look at me, I'm drinking Corona. You guys are not drinking,
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying that might be overstated. The fact that the Gen Z drinks less than previous generations. Yeah.
Okay. It's like our generation is like still in high school, so it's like I don't think they can drink yet.
Not all of them can. Okay. No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Exactly. But I would say that a lot of my friends aren't big drinker. We are social drinkers. So if we're talking about like casually just having a drink, then no, but drinking together at a party or at a certain
get together, before you go out. Yeah, no, I do remember that. It's funny because as I've gotten older, my relationship with drinking has gotten different. Like I will come home if it's been a long week or whatever and have a bourbon and like sit and enjoy a glass of bourbon.
I was gonna say, what you're missing now is if you really want to enhance that, you should totally get into smoking cigars. Just have a cigar with your bourbon every time.
That is the most older white guy occupation. Yeah,
exactly. You're sitting on your front porch with a cigar in hand and the bourbon in the other.
Brian, you're almost to cigar age. You're not quite to pipe age.
I don't like smoking though. So that's like smoking.
Have you tried vaping? You can get I
hear that's cool.
You can get a bourbon flavor vape. How about that?
Of course you can.
You can also get popcorn lungs. So
popcorn lungs. There's fruity pebbles.
Fruity pebbles.
Drinks are hitting.
Fruity plurples.
Flurry plurples. Flurbin durbin. Fruity pebbles, vapes. Yeah, no, vapes are just. I mean, vapes are like the. If somebody's vaping, you might as well be wearing jorts. That's kind of how I look at vaping. Like nobody looks cool vaping.
Yeah.
Despite what you may or may not think, that is a universal truth. You do not.
Let me hit
vaping.
My rectangle.
Yeah, but look, I can blow clouds and smoke rings.
It lights up.
Yeah, I'm Puff the Magic Dragon.
I remember there was a joke in Family Guy. It was like, you look like a douche smoking or vaping. It was like, no, I don't. It was like everybody looked like a douche.
That's 100% true. 100% true, but that's so no, I will not join the cigars and bourbon club.
You did say that your tastes change with age, so within the next few years we could see you smoking a cigar.
Never say never, Brian.
Yeah,
never say never. Yeah.
Did you ever get into vaping or cigars or anything, Winston?
I did. I got into vaping. I'm not a cigar guy. I have friends who are cigar smokers. I'm not. I've vape. I have smoked a cigarette before, but I don't like it. I vape because it was a trend for sure. Because I was a Juul,
not a TikTok one though.
I was a Juul adopter.
Oh gosh,
yeah. I was in on it early, and then after that, I was like, this is corny, so I stopped. Before Juul got banned, I was a big fan of the creme brulee pods. It's always creme brulee and the mint. Those are my go-to. I know me and one of my roommates definitely like Juul a lot. But the one thing I hated about my creme brulee pods was, despite how it smelled at the beginning, once you get to like the halfway mark, it always and never felt. It always smelled like piss for whatever reason. So it's just like, oh, it's so sweet and nice, and then the next thing you know, it smelled like freaking.
It's my whiz brulee.
Yeah, my whiz brulee. It smelled like like you ever go to like a bar and it have a really dirty bathroom. That's exactly what it smelled like.
Oh,
yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah,
they were able to put that flavor in your pod just like that. Oh.
Exactly, and so. I remember finishing like that pod, and then that's when like they were like, oh yeah, we're banning Juul, yada yada, and I was like, all right, cool, guess it's time to give up. And then my roommate was like, hey man, I heard Juul is out of business, so let me introduce you to a pop bar. And we're like, oh, they have lychee ice, this is great, I love lychee. So
wait, what are you saying? Pop? P-O-P?
P-O-P, pop bar.
Not P-O-T.
Yeah. No, pot. No, that's marijuana.
Right. No, well, I'm just like certain places it's legal. I just saw today that California is like the largest consumer of weed in the world.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I was shocked that it wasn't like some European countries like Amsterdam or something. But yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, California and Chicago and Toronto, these were all like the top 10 of like where people are just. And from what I hear, some friends. I've spoken to friends that you go in Chicago anywhere and you smell it everywhere.
Oh,
like
really?
Because it's legal there, people are just getting high all over the place.
Yeah, see, that's the big problem.
That's why they call it the Windy City.
I went through a very short phase. Never had a cigarette. Never did vape. But I've had a cigar or two.
Yeah.
I thought Tony was like, yeah, man, I've been rolling blunts for like the last 5 months.
Nope. Listen, that smells bad. I can't stand it.
Does it like? I thought cigar have a distinct smell to it. No,
cigars smell very distinct.
Yeah.
Never had a cigarette. I've done a cigar. I do own a pipe.
Do you smoke the pipe? Or you just kind of like
you
kind of just hold it there to get inspiration for things.
I do, and I just like between the cigar and the pipe, I just went, I don't think I like smoking. I just like it. Listen, the old elementary dare program has pounded too much into me, and it's just like I can't smoke. Like it's one of those things. Like the cigar and the pipe smell good, but just your mouth tastes like an ashtray afterwards. You're like, don't like that.
Yeah,
I did have a small stint where I was into hookah.
Oh, really?
And then again, it was just like, ooh, they got like fruity.
You're talking about tobaccos.
Rope me in.
Yeah,
and then it was just like you can go out to a hookah bar and you're like,
they have them in Atlanta. You
don't know whose mouth has touched stuff, and they have like the relatable tips and stuff. But I'm still like, or you can do it yourself. And I'm like, this is a giant hassle. I'm not.
Right.
Yeah.
It's smoking and it's work. No thanks.
You also look
Tony's
like a
out.
douche. You also look like a douche doing hookah though.
That's again. And as soon as people were like, "Oh, you look like an idiot if you're hookah," I'm like,
"You're like,
no, I don't. Never mind that. I don't do that."
I'm the Cheshire Cat. What's your problem, man?
Because it looks
caterpillar.
It looks stupid.
Sorry,
I just like.
Sorry.
Listen, I'm gonna. This is. Let me push up my glasses, Dave.
Yeah.
It was the caterpillar. It wasn't the Cheshire Cat. Let me throw my Disney knowledge around now too.
I'm sorry.
Anybody want to make a Marvel reference? Because I'll school you there too.
Yes, the Cheshire Cat was on mushrooms or LSD. Sorry, the caterpillar was on the hookah.
Alice was on mushrooms. She was eating mushrooms left and right, man. Was that
Disney? A journey into the psychedelic.
Yeah. Was that Led Zeppelin or was that Tom Petty with the lyric?
Tom Petty. Don't come around here no more. That video.
That was a freaking great video. But no, who had the lyric about you eat the left, you grow bigger, you eat the right, you grow smaller?
That was Jefferson Airplane.
Was it? Okay. Winston's so lost. I don't know any of these names.
We have just diverted the crossroads of Disney cartoons / psychedelic songs and or drug usage in music. Yes. Okay. So that's funny.
If you want to really jump the gap, go look up just the intro for the Disney Channel show Alice's Adventure in Wonderland.
That was a movie.
It was like being high in the 90s on the Disney Channel. It was crazy.
Well, let me explain to Winston and everybody what we just. That means I've known you long enough, Tony, that we just had that conversation and didn't say a whole lot, but I knew exactly what you were talking about. And so, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Have you heard of them?
No,
Winston.
No.
Oh my gosh, why do we always hit this roll? This is
Brian. Hold on, Brian. Let's pause real quick. Have you ever heard of Playboy Cardi?
I have.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. You got me.
Have I heard a song? Have I heard a song? No, but I know who that is. I know that's. Okay, so Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers had how do you do a sufficient backstory? They were a rock and roll band. Unfortunately, Tom Petty died not that long ago, but they were a great rock and roll band. One of their videos, Don't Come Around Here No More, was this weird sort of Alice in Wonderland inspired video.
Yeah, he dressed, Tom Petty was the Mad Hatter in the video.
Yes.
Great music video.
Right. And then the other thing you brought up was
Adventures in Wonderland, which was a Disney Channel.
No, but there was another music thing that you brought up. You said, I don't know if it's
Led Zeppelin.
Something,
I mean, they're very
mushroom, right? You eat the left or the right, something like that.
Yes, Jefferson Airplane.
Oh,
yes,
Jefferson Airplane.
Yes, White Rabbit references Alice in Wonderland and about eating the drugs. They were just trying to rationalize in the 60s how eating drugs was a normalized thing in the 60s.
Yeah, Alice probably never went to Wonderland. She probably just ate LSD.
That's the popular theory.
I don't know, but I gotta share this because it's just. The intro to Adventures in Wonderland was wild.
This is what I imagined it looked like to do acid.
Yeah.
What? This is
Tweedledee and Tweedledum were like rappers.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum are like MC Hammer.
And Alice had a Tails top coat and jeans.
What year was this? This is freaky.
I want to say 91 or 92.
Was this a live action series? I guess Disney.
This was a live action show.
Oh my gosh! There you go. There's that's what looks like that Tom Petty video with the checkered floor. This is so creepy.
That's in your heads now. You're welcome.
Yeah. No,
what the hell was that?
That's the things that Millennial Tony watched when he grew up. I look back on it now and go, who was smoking what whenever they
seriously.
That was creepy.
It's a lot of cocaine being done by those executives for sure.
Yeah.
You look back at like 90s stuff like that, and it comes out creepy. At the time, it was sort of cutting edge. Yes, they aged very badly. So we've gotten way far away from the top of the show, but two things that we wanted to talk about at the top of the show is the passing of Pee Wee Herman. The fact that several weeks ago, episode 4 or so, we talked about completely off the cuff. The beaded curtains section the beaded curtains conversation led to Pee Wee Herman conversation.
Spanking his Pee Wee.
Well, come on now. My
fault. I'm sorry.
Have some respect, man. He's passed on now. Yeah. Little did we know that when we brought that up and talked about that, just mere weeks later, months later, he's now passed away. And like, it's way cool to me to see like people acknowledging that he was a significant. I mean, it was weird. I mean, he was like, it was kid stuff, but it was still noticed by adults about how funny he was.
I think the most eye-opening thing for me was realizing how old he actually was.
Yeah, man, 70 years old.
I didn't realize he was 70. I thought he was at most 50, 60. Like, that was crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess dressing like a kid and all of his most of his appearances kind of, definitely made you think he was younger than he actually was.
That's exactly it. And I always think, like, for whatever reason, when I think of Pee Wee Herman, I think of like he's at that age like the guys from Blue Clues. It's just he's
Steve.
He's like forever 20, 30-ish. Like, So it was crazy when I was like, I read the headline. It was like, Pee Wee Herman passed away at 70. I was like, 70? Shit.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. But it was nice to see that at his passing, a lot of people sort of, gave credit to him as being hilarious and apparently a very kind individual.
Yeah.
It's nice to see people show some credit for some of his non-Pee Wee roles as well. A favorite movie growing up was Mystery Men, 90s movie, weird superheroes. He was in that as the Spleen. The joke was he just farted and knocked people out. That was his superpower.
I remember seeing that only just after he passed. I had forgotten about that, but also in Blow with Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz, he plays like this drug dealer, and he was awesome.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, you wouldn't think. I mean, he still 100% sounds like Pee Wee, not in his Pee Wee Herman voice, but he's like got a higher voice.
Yeah.
But he's like this drug dealer, I think. I may be mischaracterizing it, but because I haven't seen that movie in a while, but I remember him being amazing in that.
All right.
I'm going to bring it back around to one of my favorite non-Pee Wee roles of his, going back to Star Wars and the Disney parks. He was the voice of Rex, who was the droid pilot on the original Star Tours ride.
Yes, I forgot about that.
He was the pilot Rex, who has now been repurposed, which here's the callback to Oga's Cantina. If you visit the Star Wars bar on either coast, there is a droid DJ in Oga's Cantina. It is old Rex. He's been repurposed from Star Tours. Paul Rubin came back to voice Rex, so you can still go hear old Pee Wee.
What's the new droid's name?
It's Rex. It's the same droid.
Oh, it's still Rex? They still that's still Rex.
It's a great callback in the parks to go, hey, he's not piloting that anymore. He's over here in Oga's.
He's a DJ
spinning some tunes for you while you have a drink. It's great.
His real passion. He was never his pilot.
He never wanted to be a pilot.
He always wanted
to be fair, he was real bad at it. He was real bad.
That's true.
Yeah. Let me see how I can do this.
Look at Brian being producer now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Tony's lost it, so Brian's taking over.
So somebody's got to take the reins always. If you like the intro music to our show, we've mentioned before that Rabbit Productions has produced that music for the intro to the show. If you like that sort of feel, especially of the intro, that cool instrumental stuff, Rabbit Productions has put out an album, 14.
XIV.
Yes, the Roman numerals 14. If you search Rabbit Productions, RABBITT Productions, and Roman numeral 14, X1V, right? Is that what you said? XIV?
There's no numbers.
Yeah.
I went to public school, man. Forgive me. They put out an instrumental album. It's very cool. Very cool.
Awesome.
Especially, I love the first track. I actually listened to a couple times today. But check it out. If Rabbit Productions, Roman numeral 14.
Yes, XIV, great album.
That was
from some interview work. It sounds like they're getting ready to put out some other stuff, maybe some like lo-fi things, which
that's great. Yeah,
super great. Yeah,
I was just gonna say that almost felt like our very first like ad break ever. Yeah,
we didn't have any ad copy, but we will absolutely plug our buddy. Yeah.
Listen, I should have totally like done it like this. What's your favorite numero number? Mine is 14. Speaking of 14, today's sponsor.
I went to public school, Winston. How do you spell 14 in Roman numerals?
XIV.
Number 1? No. Oh, I. See, now we're back to a commercial to learn a foreign language. I'm speaking French. The French.
This imagine V. Listen, while we're making bad segues, let's go right into this. Hey, everybody. You know how I mentioned at the end of every podcast that if you want us to talk about something, send us an email? Somebody finally sent us an email, and guess what? Ooh. We're going to talk about what they asked. So if you want to
send it to xywhyz@gmail.com? Is that where one would send
because that's wrong. That's where you said it, and it didn't come to us at all. If you want to send us something, if it's podcast XWHYZ.
Oh, gosh, that's why all my letters to the podcast have not been answered.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes. Podcast XWHYZ@gmail.com. We will talk about them. And
like we are now.
This segment is going to be called Questions from Tony's Dad, because my father sent us emails, and I gotta do a little like questions from Tony's dad. I need some like
all right, we're working on that
hair metal guitar riff behind me.
I think we just did that was the demo right there. I'll put some guitar into that. We got it. It's fantastic.
Man, these questions they sort of touch on things that we like make sense for the show. They're off the wall, and I'm so excited because
all right.
We sent them in about a week ago, and you guys have not looked at them.
All right, so pull out your mailbag, Tony.
These are questions that are not just like discuss this. He's given his answers.
Oh, what?
Which he's just like, hey, here's these questions that I asked, but here's my answers. Talk about those too. So. Get ready for this.
All right.
So, question number
from
1.
Tony's dad.
What is the single most important thing you've ever done with your phone?
Oh, geez, man. We just take a right turn here. We're talking about vomiting and getting drunk, and now we're talking about
Listen, I'm excited to hear what all of our answers are, and then I'm going to tell you what his answer is. So he's got input here, and they're wild.
The single most important thing we've done with our phone.
Single most important thing done with our phone.
Right off the bat, my mind goes to like being on vacation and making a reservation for something.
I have one. I have one. Okay, this is disgusting, but you can cut it out if you need to.
Jeez, we got more gross things. Want.
Yes, good.
I was
rated gross for everyone.
I was 17 years old in high school. Somebody had gifted me this is like a VR goggle, but it was the one where you strap your phone to it.
So the Google Glass or the
it was like the Google cardboard. It was like it was like a cardboard, but a cardboard you could actually fold yourself. This one somebody had manufactured and then they sold it as it is. So the very most important thing I've ever done was put my phone in there and watch porn in VR.
Oh,
that was
goodness.
it. That was it. That was the greatest invention known to man. I'm telling you, it's a new world.
Tony's dad would be proud. He's
I don't know
now.
about that. Don't put that on him. But
no, I'm 100% joking. That's 100% sarcastic.
Brian, can you up VR porn?
I just look at it now as like a utilitarian thing. Like this is not important, but I remember when I got an iPhone, I finally was able to like track how far I was running. I'd started running at that point, and in my brain, I thought it was going a lot farther. And then I finally got the iPhone to track it. I'm like, that was like just over 2 miles. What the heck, man? I felt like I was running, forever. So that's not super important, but that was one of the first things I remember going, okay, this is like a tool. Another one to throw in, because that one was not great, was the time I'd gotten poison ivy and had to make a last minute, appointment at a place to go get a shot for, since I'm super allergic to poison ivy. So like driving down the road from one place that didn't have an appointment, making the appointment and being able to go directly there.
My dad's answer is sitting on the toilet and calling somebody in the house for TP.
Oh, that is
to be
true.
Fair, good answer, but
great answer.
Man,
great
not what I was expecting.
It's funny because that's
real serious
I had
question.
To do that the other day. I actually had to do that the other day, and you're right. It is the best thing you could ever do.
And I want to say the first instance of this was not with a cell phone, but with the cordless phone in the house. Like he called the house using the house phone to go bring me some.
That's hilarious.
Okay, so this is just for my own curiosity as far as timelines go. Winston, when you started using the phone as a youth, and I was told to stop using that, because I said that makes me sound ancient. Yeah. When you started using the phone as a kid, what kind of phone was it?
I had it was similar to a sidekick. It wasn't so much of a sidekick, but you push it up and then there's like a keypad under.
No, it was a cell phone though. I'm talking more generically. You did not have a landline.
No. The
landline
first
in the
phone
house.
ever. Yeah, we had a landline. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had a house phone that I used to call my parents when it was getting dark out. I'm like, hey, where are you guys? Type of thing. That was I only knew one phone number, and it was my dad, and that was it.
That was the house phone?
Yeah. So landline, I would have used the house phone to call my dad's cell phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Moving on to question number 2. We move from phones, which again, we've talked about a lot on the podcast. We move into a music question.
Oh, good.
Okay. And I guess this is directed at Winston.
Oh.
What is the real name of Marky Mark, and what was the name of his music group?
Oh, I love this question.
Marky Mark?
Marky Mark.
Oh,
that's so Mark Wahlberg, right?
Oh,
it is Mark Wahlberg.
Nice. Yeah. And
what was the name of his group?
It's the Wahlburgers.
No. Marky Mark and the Wahlburgers. Good vibrations.
The Wahlbergs?
No, Marky Mark and the
Wahlbergs?
Funky Bunch.
I would have never guessed that.
Oh, wow.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Good Vibrations is their famous song.
Oh, that's
your homework for this week.
Hold on. I just want to say this. Tony goes, yeah, this question is totally towards Winston. Who is Marky Mark? You know Mark Wahlberg punch a Vietnamese guy, right?
Listen, you had half of the question. I'm rather impressed.
He punched a Vietnamese guy?
Yes, he punched a Vietnamese guy when he was like 19. It was like if you look up Mark Wahlberg on the internet, there's a section in Wikipedia that just said hate crimes. I'm not even joking. This guy just hate Vietnamese guys.
Which means you should absolutely know the name of his group.
Yeah, so I can run away from him, right?
Right.
And the real answer should have been Marky Mark and the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. Yeah, all right.
That's the humor about these things.
He apparently, hold on. I just typed this into Google, and this is a lot worse than what we thought.
We didn't think at all. We didn't know about it.
Apparently, he thought he blinded the dude.
Yeah, it was bad. Like, he punched the shit out of the dude.
Why did he? Okay, why was he assaulting a Vietnamese fella?
Just cause. It was just a hate crime. There was no reason to it. Despite what he said.
The Vietnamese guy said in an interview that Mark Wahlberg was not responsible for his lost eye. So he didn't just go blind. He lost his eye.
Yeah. It was crazy because Mark Wahlberg
quote, I was not blinded by Mark Wahlberg. He did hurt me, but my left eye was already gone. He was not responsible for that. He was young and restless, but I forgive him now.
Oh,
I decided to be a pirate long before my run-in with him.
Oh my gosh. I didn't think I had no idea the connection before I asked this question.
That's why I thought it was so funny.
Well, Tony's dad. Little did you know you stirred up the hornet's nest with that one.
Yeah. Moving on to number 3.
Jeez.
I have no faith. So we're going to a movie question.
Okay.
I have no faith that Winston's seen this movie.
Okay.
I don't actually have a lot of faith that Brian has seen this movie.
Oh.
But my dad wants to know, what is the best scene in the movie Joe Dirt?
David Spade's vehicle.
Yes.
I have to admit that I have not seen Joe Dirt.
I didn't expect you to.
I like David Spade, and in fact, I have been listening to the podcast with David Spade and Dana Carvey, Fly on the Wall, which is pretty fun because they talk to people that have been on Saturday Night Live. But no, I have not seen Joe Dirt. Joe Dirt, David Spade rocking a serious mullet wig.
Winston, gotta ask outright.
I've never seen it. I've seen the poster, but I've never seen the movie.
So if we said Joe, when he said Joe Dirt, you knew what he was talking about.
I knew the movie. Yes.
Yeah. So that was a movie that came out in the 90s, probably post Wayne's World,
early 2000s. I want to say. I'll look it up here.
I think it's 2002. If I
Winston and listeners,
2001 was when it came out.
Yeah.
What about Wayne's World, Winston?
Wayne's World, I have heard of, never seen it.
Okay.
Based on SNL character, correct?
Right. Mike Myers, Dana Carvey had a skit on Saturday Night Live, Wayne's World, and they made a movie, and it was hilarious.
That was
absolutely hilarious. I watched it.
Rob Lowe was in that.
Yes. Alice Cooper shows up in it. It is hysterical. I watched it. This is years ago, but not like so many years ago. I remember I was home by myself and I'm like flipping through the channels going, what am I going to watch? And Wayne's World was like just starting. And I'm like, do I want to watch Wayne's World? Let me try and watch I watched Wayne's World and it was funny. There was so many sayings in that movie that were introduced into sort of like the public consciousness. Like, granted, when we played in the street as kids, we said game on or car and, game on, and like car and like, I can't even remember. There was so many in that movie that when I watched it, I was like, it was super fun. It held up. I mean, it was dated, but it held up.
Party on, Wayne.
Party on, Garth. It was really, yeah. So if you want to watch a stupid 90s Saturday Night Live comedy, that's definitely one to see.
When I was a kid, I used to thought that Wayne's World was a sequel to Bill and Ted.
That's
very
funny.
Similar movies. Very
100% could totally see that. Did Bill and I thought Bill and Ted came out after Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure came out after Wayne's World.
No way. Hold on.
Wayne's World was 91. Bill and Ted was 89.
89.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's a sequel.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was 89. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was 1991.
Okay. No, I mean the original all the way.
Now, we've talked about this before. Adult movies that transcended into cartoons. Nobody remembers the Bill and Ted cartoon, but there was one.
Oh, yeah.
That was 1990. 2 seasons.
Excellent!
Before we get too far away, I do want to make sure that we hit my father's answer.
Okay, yeah, clearly. These have been great. These have been fantastic, by the way.
His opinion of the best scene of Joe Dirt, which was, in his words, quote, the use of a spatula to pry a dog's ball sack off of a deck since they were frozen to the porch. There was a scene in which a dog's balls were frozen to a porch and somebody used a spatula to scrape them off.
The classic Joe Dirt scene.
Everybody's favorite Joe Dirt scene.
Oh, man. Yeah. And
my mind immediately went to, he comes into a bar at one point in time, like
You've seen it?
More times than I care to admit. He comes into an establishment at one point in time like a terrorist, where he's got what he thinks is like a giant bomb duct taped to him, and somebody goes, "Man, that's not a bomb. That's just that looks like the septic tank off of an RV," and goes and hits the top of this thing that he has strapped to him, and sure enough, just liquid poop coming out of the top all over him that he can't get away from.
Oh man!
It's hilarious.
It's a pretty good movie.
They don't really happen that much today, but back in the 90s, that was like sort of the thing. If you had successful skits on Saturday Night Live, they'd either be made into a movie or your characters would roll off and be in movies. That was the thing. So you had, Wayne's World was I don't know if it was the first, but probably one of the first ones. And then it was such a huge success. Then just so many followed where they were like skits on Saturday Night Live that then turned into movies.
I would say probably Blues Brothers was the first one.
Oh, nicely done. Okay, yeah. Classic.
1980. MacGruber, Night at the Roxbury, Coneheads, Superstar.
Yeah, I've only seen, and what's funny, I mean, Blues Brothers is a classic. I refuse to acknowledge Blues Brothers, 2000 or whatever, that one that came out. I love John Goodman, but he was in that trying to fill the role of, Belushi, and it was, anyway, that one's not good. The first one's amazing. Stars Princess Leia.
Oh, really?
So there you go, Winston. Movie list, Blues Brothers, the original one.
Joe Dirt.
And Joe Dirt.
And Wayne's World.
And Wayne's World. All three of those. Well, I've never seen Joe Dirt, but I mean, if you like David Spade, I'm sure it's probably funny.
I love David Spade.
It's a good movie. Yeah. It is a good movie.
Okay, do we have any more questions?
Do we have more questions?
These have been gold.
That was it. Those are the three for this one. My dad did say, if you want more, he's got more. So we may make this a reoccurring segment every few episodes.
to sum up.
The intro.
Vietnamese hate crimes, spatula dogs' balls on,
Vietnamese hate crimes, is that what you said?
Yes.
Unintentionally, he has done exactly what this podcast is set out to do, which is cover everything across the board. It was a good set of questions.
It's fantastic.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you have suggestions of anything that you want to hear us talk about, send us an email. It's always nice when people tell us in person. We immediately are going to forget. Send us an email, podcastxwhyz@gmail.com. Send us an email. We are all across the U.S. now. We're missing a lot of the middle. If you've got friends in like Kansas, tell them.
Tony wants to talk to Middle America.
Listen, I don't know. I'll put on my mid-Atlantic accent for you, even.
Well
then, Middle America, we're missing you, and we'd like you to call in and send us an email.
You're an old-timey 50s announcer.
Yes. You can visit us. We got an Instagram page. We post whenever we get new episodes out. We post some other random things there. We've got TikTok.
We are on TikTok.
Our Gen Z representative posting our videos on TikTok. Hopefully we get some more stuff on there. You'll get to see our shining, glorious faces here soon. Hopefully it doesn't freak you out too much if you've been listening
Mark
for a while.
Don't see me.
He'll punch you right. He'll punch you
right in my face.
He's tough. He's from Boston, man. Don't mess with him. Yeah, we tag Wahlburgers in this episode.
Oh, we should.
Oh, it's done. And you want to look back at past episodes, listen to those. If you want to see Winston's watch and listen list, which has again exponentially grown this episode, you can see all of that on our home on the web. podcastxyz.podbean.com. And with that, we will see everybody in 2 weeks.
See you later, everybody.